Welcome to We. I don't even have the right song, Thomas Schooley. I don't even have the right song set up right now because I don't know what is happening at Amalie Arena or in Columbus or anywhere the Lightning are playing right now. I'm not freaking out, Thomas Schooley. I'm not freaking out, but this is not how I plan to start this show.
What is going on? Breaking news, the Bolts just recalled Daniel Walcox onto the taxi squad.
They better call him. And he better score some goals. Or wait, is he a goalie?
No. Walcott.
we need a backup goalie too. Man, the story has changed in the last 2 weeks on this show, and wow, the last 2 weeks have been bad. Last week I was on here and you got disconnected through the internet. By the way, Stash, too upset to even show up. Too upset to even show up tonight. He's just said, I'm going to bed. There might have been some other conversations as well. But regardless, we're here. It's Tuesday night. The Bolts played. They lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets. A thorn in our side as always. And they can't score goals right now. Defensive breakdowns, backup goalie issues. Let me remind you, we also lost to the Detroit Red Wings as well at home. That hasn't happened in like 8 years, maybe a little less than that.
We were 16-0 at home against them.
Well, talk me off the ledge, man. Make it feel better. Make the pain go away.
Well, shout out to one of the messages Stash sent us. He said, "Seeing Stamkos." Back to the old bumper sticker that we had way back when we got Stammer. It's kind of been what it was the last couple games. Low scoring, defense is not that great. I know at the beginning of the show they were saying that if your defense tightens up, the scoring will follow. So they expect Cernak back during this 4-game road trip. So maybe once Cernak is back and we have that core D line back, we'll start seeing some scoring again.
Yeah. And, here's why I am starting to freak out a little bit, because whenever I pull out the Stamkos socks and wear those for a game, he's good for at least a helper and a goal. But no, the socks didn't even work tonight. So
tonight, nothing worked except for Ross Colton. He's still doing amazing that we kept him.
Yeah, how did Ross Colton become our mid-season MVP? Like, that was not what I was expecting. You know what else I was thinking was, man, Volkov put the curse on the Bolts. Ever since he's been gone, the team's like just falling apart. It's nuts. I mean, are you on? You're probably not on the Fire Coop bandwagon.
No, not at all. Not at all. The man just won the Stanley Cup. Why are you gonna fire him already? I mean, the only thing I would say is that we are getting too predictable. If you look at even against Detroit, look who scored against us. It was old Tampa Bay Lightning players.
Oh, Ernie, Filppula.
Right.
Filppula. Usually they were saying Filppula doesn't even play for them. They just put him in to play the Bolts.
Right. So it's like it's that on every team right now. It's old ex-Lightning players are scoring against us. And it's like, okay, they know the system way too well. We don't switch it up. We haven't switched it up in years. Maybe it's time to do a little something different.
Yeah. I see the comment from Elizabeth here. Please tell me this slump we are in is going to pass soon. I think it is, Elizabeth. I'm gonna remain positive here and say that every team has a bad streak throughout the season, and you've seen it from pretty much every team this year. Remember, Boston started out really hot. You saw the Islanders get really hot, and eventually
Philly got really hot, and then started really losing bad.
Yeah, so it's the Lightning's turn, and I think why it's so concerning is we just haven't seen it in so long. We're just not used to the Lightning losing, especially to teams that we know we should beat. And I don't know, am I alone? I watched the game by myself. Am I alone here in my thoughts of like they had a lot of chances to score? They could have won this game by like an extra tip here and an extra like bounce there.
Well,
I mean,
that puck that went right across the goal line, had one stick been in there when Salic was out of net, and it would have went in, and that could have started the whole barrage for us. It could have ended up being a 3-2 game. We kept Colton scoring and then Shen scoring. So it's not even gonna lie. Columbus was on their game tonight with their goalie. You had Max Domi, he was flying all around all over the ice tonight.
I know. What did he have the best game of his entire freaking life tonight?
Always against Tampa. Always. He, no matter what team he's with against Tampa, always brings out the best in him.
What did Dino Cicero, or what was that guy that used to play for Lightning that used to
Dino
fight
Ciccarelli.
Ciccarelli, right?
Yep.
What did he put his dad in a headlock or something back in the
day? Him and those two had plenty of fights. But yeah, I mean, he's always had good games no matter what team he has played for against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So to see him, Columbus torts. I mean, you have the addition of Patrick Laine, who we've been able to shut him out, but it seems like Tampa's taken more of a trying to make sure we shut him down rather than play our game. They've been really scared about Laine and making sure he's not been left alone. He almost burned us a couple times last game, and we ended up coming out with the late win. So it'll be interesting to see Thursday's game.
Yeah, maybe Torts will bench him for something. Yeah. we can only hope.
Chernak make his return, hopefully.
So let me pull up the schedule. Let's just go back the last week and look at what we've accomplished or not accomplished over that time frame. So last Tuesday, we were in the same boat talking about the Lightning losing to the Blue Jackets 3-1. And then the Lightning go ahead and get themselves a little 2-game win streak, beating the Blue Jackets Thursday 3-2. Had the Wings Saturday afternoon. Lightning pulled that game off 2-1. And then the Sunday game 5-1. I actually missed most of that game.
It was Easter. We took it off.
How do you lose 5-1 to the worst team in the division?
You put in your AHL goalie Gibson that everybody was begging to put in over McElhinney, and everybody got to see what it was like to have Gibson in net. And all of a sudden, McElhinney became a hero again.
I know it's kind of alarming. Like it's becoming clear that goaltending's not the issue. You see McElhinney making crazy saves. Vasi just does it night after night. Gibson was not ready for that, and makes you think that, hey, what's wrong with the Lightning's defense? I mean, it's some serious breakdowns tonight as well that led to some goals. So, is everyone healthy? Is Cernak that big of a piece? You got to wonder what is it that we don't know that might be causing this, or is it just like this jam-packed schedule and they finally, hit a wall? You can't just go full steam and steamroll the rest of the Central Division the entire time, especially when you got a log jam of games for 2 months straight, and we're smack in the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean they got to come back. They gotta. I mean, everybody knows we have Cooch coming back for the playoffs, but you can see it in the players right now. They're in a slump. They're getting inside their own head. You saw Sergachev really get frustrated tonight with Laine, and then ended up taking the penalty against him, and Columbus ended up scoring on that power play. So you can see that things are starting to get in their head. I know that I've seen all the interviews all week, and everybody's been asking them about this slump, this slump, this slump. And I think the players are starting to believe in this slump. So they're going to have to get back into that win mentality. I think we saw Pat Maroon after a couple losses ago. He was saying how they needed to get back the fight spirit. And I think that's what they need to dig into. They need to get out of this loss mentality, and maybe with the back of McDonough back and then Chernak back, and some stability going on. But then right off the cuff of that, you're going to have Stevens coming back, and then there's going to be more decisions to be made.
Yeah, Stevens is headed to Syracuse, right?
Yeah, he's going to Syracuse for his rehab assignment, play a couple games there, and then he'll come on up.
He'll be back soon. Good. We'll need him. And don't forget about Uncle Cooch. You see, they show him skating. He seems to be getting a little bit better each time they show him skating around the rink. So just got to make it there. Just got to make it to the playoffs. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. You don't want to finish in first. You don't want the President's Cup. So I do want them to win the Central Division, though. I mean, if there's one banner you want to get, it's the one that you're never going to get a chance to get again. So
right now, the worst they can finish is third in that Central, behind. Let's see. So I did the magic numbers right now. The magic number currently for the playoffs is 76.
Where are they at now?
Bolts are at, I think, 54. Let's see here real quick. We are at 54. So 76, 12 more wins.
Yeah, we're a month away, a little bit over a month from the end of the season. That's crazy. It's coming fast. It's coming in a few weeks, which reminds me, next Monday,
trade deadline,
the 12th, trade deadline. So with everything that's happened with the Bolts in the last 2 weeks, what do you say? What do you say we throw away a draft pick and a prospect to shore up some D? Do you get a backup goalie? I don't think you need a backup goalie. Do you need scoring? We can't score goals now. What do you think? We got some prospects.
Well, the rumor was going around that we're gonna try to make a trade with the Blue Jackets.
Oh God.
I'm trying to get
Savard.
Yeah. I don't know if we have enough to be able to afford him. There's going to be teams that are scrambling. Taylor Hall was left out of New Jersey's lineup today as a healthy scratch, so he doesn't get injured. Tampa hasn't been sitting anybody, so it doesn't look like they're shopping around any of the big guns.
First round pick.
Right. You would have to send some kind of money, though, the other way. So some kind of player.
Oh, that's true, because we got the whole cap situation.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Savard's making $4 or $5 million a year, probably.
Let's check the old cap friendly. Yeah.
I don't know if I like them making a move right now, just because they are kind of in this slump,
Yeah, but I think defense is something they've always been trying to get ever since Shaddy didn't resign. I mean, you got Ruda injured right now. I think that's the second time this season. So you got Ruda, Shen, and Borgman. Do you really trust any of them going into the playoffs?
It would be nice to have more, for sure. But I don't know. I don't like the idea of getting a guy that's just, Savard's just going to be a rental. I believe he's on the last year of his contract, so he's a free agent after the end of the season. So that's a tough call. Do you spend Do you overspend for that one player on
Yes.
the back end?
If you want to repeat as champions, yes. That's the reason why we got Coleman. That's the reason why we got Goodrow. That's the reason we made those things at the end of last season.
I know that's kind of why it's exciting though, because it's like JBB, this ain't his first rodeo. Look what happened last year, and it paid off. So that's why I feel like that first round pick is gone. It's just, who else is going? And like you said, like where's the money going to come up from for this as well? So who's going to go with him?
Well,
But
the thing is I don't know if it would be next year's first round because everybody's trying to hold on to them for Seattle to try to work deals with Seattle to get them to take certain players.
True,
Yeah.
but you gotta think like Seattle's not going to end up with like 10 first round picks. They won't be able to build a team like that.
Let's see. Savard is 4.2 this season, and then unrestricted free agent next year.
Do you think Savard's that good?
No. Do I think he's better than what we have available to us as that last D-man? Yes.
He's a third liner. Yeah, he's like that third pairing on this team, but apparently that's what we need it. We need it because I don't know, like these guys keep getting injured,
Well, if you look at it, tonight's game, a lot of it was we were playing defense too much. If you have your forward stop having to race back and try to block shots in front of Assy and stuff like that, if you have a defense that you can lean on in the back half there, then maybe your front three will be shooting more.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It makes it interesting for that trade deadline next week.
You used to be able to go down to the arena, and this was 5 seasons ago, and Stevie Y had a conference room that faced right there, Channel Side Drive, and you'd be able to look there on trade deadline day, and he had huge table lined up with a whole bunch of everybody sitting in there. And they had TVs and monitors and a giant whiteboard and everything else. And it'd be an interesting thing to see on trade deadline day. But now you don't see that anymore over there.
It's JB in the basement
with 10 phones going. What you got?
Yeah. So I had some games lined up. Well, a game, and we gotta hold off, but we can do that next week. I actually have another game for next week. So the one that I have for tonight, we're gonna push back a couple weeks, but I'm gonna have a game next week, and it's gonna involve kind of the trades that happened, and basically we're gonna kind of lay out some predictions next week after these trade deadline deals go through. And we're going to go back at the end of the season and see how knowledgeable or not so knowledgeable we are on hockey around the league. So next week, we'll go a little bit into outside the Lightning and into the rest of the league and see, what's going on with all these other teams outside the Central. Are you tired of seeing these same freaking teams over and over again?
I am.
It sucks.
So Stammers today just said, losing 5 of the last 7, no one is feeling sorry for us. We're not feeling sorry for ourselves. We'll find a way. Captain is not concerned. There is frustration, no doubt, but they've got to stick together. Rare to not get rewarded for chances.
They're aware of the problem.
Yeah. As much as we like to be the only coaches and believe we're the only ones that see it, Stamkos had a lot of praise for Columbus goalie Korpisalo tonight. It just felt like whatever we were throwing at him, he was stopping. Blue Jackets power play capitalized where Tampa Bay's couldn't. Those two factors were a big part of the loss.
For sure. Yeah, and that last penalty kill that they gave up a power play goal on, that fourth goal. Or no, it wasn't the fourth. I think it was the third. That was the killer right there. Like the Bolts took 2 penalties in a row in the third period, and I'm thinking, oh, the Bolts are gonna rally. They've come back before down 2-0 in the third. Give me a break. But man, those penalties were not timely. And of course, when Columbus kind of makes you pay for it, like that was kind of the dagger for me. You saw the Bolts, of course, show up a little bit at the end, but way, way too late to get back in that game, especially with a guy like Korpisalo, who you got to really pepper, and not an easy guy to get the puck past.
So everybody's going nuts on the Lightning Twitter about them calling up Wally D. A lot of speculation. Johnson's either gone or getting sent down, or Borgman's getting sent down. Are the two things that are going around.
Yeah, I'm sure they're trying to trade Johnson and maybe another guy if they can get a defender in here, or someone. I'm not sold that they're going just for defense. I have a feeling they might make a move for a forward if anyone's kind of floating any veterans out there. But
if they can get rid of a Johnson or Killorn salary, I don't see them not pulling that off. I think they know they have Cooch coming back, and I think they're willing to roll the dice and see where that takes them come playoff time.
Yeah, that's true about Cooch. You got to factor in only so many players can play.
Yeah.
So
I mean, now with the emergence of Colton, I mean, who do you sit with Cooch coming back?
Right, because you want to get Mitchell Stevens back in there.
Well, you got to sit someone if you put Stevens back in too.
I know.
So now you're sitting 2 of our current roster. You would have to say, if you put Stevens and Cooch in, I would say it's Colton and Joseph. But then Matty Joe's been spectacular this
season. Good. Yeah, that whole fourth line during this losing streak has been kind of the bright spot. And it's such a weird line. It's like the 2 young, fast kind of gunners, and then you got Maroon.
Do you sit Maroon, who's the in front of the net presence, the screen? Do you sit him so you bring Stevens or Cooch back? It's going to be, if we don't trade for something, it's going to be, and if we trade for another forward, winger, whatever, that's just going to put more of a log jam, unless it's going to be like a 2-for-1 or something. Because you're going to have to make some tough decisions here. We're just a month and a week away from playoffs. So yeah. I think the season got extended to the 11th, I believe. So
did it? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, because Tampa's games got moved, and then I think Dallas.
We got them back to back.
A couple others got moved, and I think the season now is going to end on the 11th, and that might even change with now Vancouver losing so many games with what they have 13 players on COVID protocol right now.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it got moved back a little bit longer. And
that's the thing that sucks about this whole COVID thing and the shortened season is that it was okay while I was at the beginning of the season because we could make them up on the back end. Now you're getting to the back end, and where are you going to fit all these games in?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good thing that they don't, like, they have some leeway as far as when they start the playoffs. Didn't they have like a window of when they want it to start?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they'll figure it out, and you never know. Like, you might see some more teams end up, having to cancel games this month too. It's just the fun part about sports this year.
The Hurricanes beat the Panthers tonight, so that ties them with the Bolts. The max amount we can have is 88 points, but we're going to play each other. So obviously that ain't going to happen for either of them. So right now, the Lightning sit in the second spot in the division.
Behind the Panthers.
Carolina controls their own destiny. They're the ones that can win the division right now.
Well, here's what it's going to come down to. There's your schedule next week. The Lightning better get their shit together. Thursday night against the Blue Jackets, come back and win that game. Take 2 from the Predators, which, by the way, all of a sudden the Predators are winning games. So those will not be easy games. But 2 in Nashville, Saturday and Tuesday. We'll be back after the Tuesday night game. And then that following week is going to be really what is going to like, are we going to win the Central? Because we're going to find out. April 15th through April 20th. Panthers at home Thursday, Saturday. Hurricanes at home Monday, Tuesday, back to back. And we'll be on after that Tuesday, April 20th, 420 matchup.
I'll actually be at that game.
I know. Maybe we should all go to that game. Because the Lightning are going to need us there because they need to win a lot of these games coming down.
Those Panthers Hurricane games are going to be really, those are definitely 4-point games. And then what's our record against Predators? Do you know? Offhand? Can't remember.
I don't know if we've lost to the Predators. We've maybe lost 1 to them.
I think we lost 1.
But remember, when we did play them, those were like all our comeback games. We like to spot them a lead and then come back in the second or third period against them, which I don't really trust Lightning to do right now. So they need to jump out to an early lead.
We lost 4-1 against them. 3 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins. So we'll win the series against Nashville. So with Chicago losing tonight, or Dallas losing tonight, the magic number went to 75 now. So, and no, 74. This is 74. So now we're 20 points away. 10 wins.
10 wins.
10 wins.
Let's count them up. Let's count them up. Blue Jackets Thursday, bounce back win, W. Predators swept, 3 wins right there. Split with the Panthers, 4. Split with the Hurricanes, 5. Split with the Jackets.
No, 6. I say we beat them both. 6-7.
6-7, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games to win. 2 more or 1 more.
Yeah, I think we clinch it there against the Red Wings, but it'll go down even more as the other teams play each other.
And we could be staring at May 8th and May 10th, the Central Division hinging on a Lightning Panther 2-game series. And then I'm sure the Carolina Hurricanes have something to say about that. But
yeah, what's their schedule like? Let's see. They've been so wishy-washy back and forth between being good and being bad. So let's see. They have another game against Florida on Thursday, 2 against Detroit, 2 against Nashville, 2 against us, 2 more against Florida, 2 against Dallas, 1 Detroit, 1 Columbus, 3 against Chicago, and 2 against Nashville to end the season. So, yeah, I mean, they're controlling the destiny of the Central Division right now. So we'll see.
Yeah. And by the way, who said the Central Division was going to be so weak?
Yeah. Well, they have in the standings of the league. Right now, Colorado is winning the President's Cup. And then you have Florida, Carolina, Toronto, Tampa. Then you don't have another one from the Central until towards the bottom.
Well, we're going to look at not just the Central. We're going to look at all the leagues next week. But I want to I want to bounce this article past you. I don't know if you've seen this one yet from Eduardo Escina, your Tampa Bay Times. I got to get these articles in when I can because I can only visit this website like 2 times a month or something before they shut me down. In fact, this is my last article that I can read here. Which if I'm going to pay, I'm going to get The Athletic, Joe Smith, or we're going to get with
Lightning there. Lightning Insider.
Sure. But I like these gimmicky articles like this because I'm cheesy like that. 5 numbers worth noting about the Lightning's current state of affairs. Excellent title, Eduardo. You got me at the title. I skipped through though and go right to the 5 facts. So -10. Lightning's goal differential in the second period over the past 6 games. Yeah, that second period has sucked. Tonight wasn't any better. I think we gave up 1 goal. We gave up 1 goal.
Yes.
We did not score any. So yeah, that's weird because it seemed like early in the season we were strong in that second period. So good observation there. The 3-5-1. That's the Lightning's record without Andrei Vasilevsky in net this season.
So it's 3-4-1 for Curtis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect the Lightning to win when they have a backup goalie in. Even my children know that.
Yeah.
I say, hey, the backup's goalie's in, so this one might not go so well. But it doesn't matter because Vasilevsky ain't coming out for the playoffs.
No,
unless he has to. I think he's playing every single game like he did in the bubble.
Well, in that Detroit game where we put Gibson in, didn't Detroit play their goalie both nights? Wasn't it the same goalie Saturday and Sunday? Wasn't Bryce in net for both?
I didn't see Sunday, so
well,
I know
Bryce
it was
Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday was for sure.
He played Sunday too.
Well, you should be thanking the Lightning because I think that was his 3rd win of the season or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Grice played both games there.
All right, 24 games. The Lightning are unbeaten in regulation when we leading or tied after 2 periods. There's your key right there. We need to get that lead. Even during this losing streak, I mean, that's pretty impressive numbers when you're getting the lead, but they're just not getting the lead right now.
That first goal lately has been very hard to come by for them.
Yeah, and even the way the defense has been playing a lot lately, like, I don't know if this is going to stand up. Like, we don't even have a chance to really defend it because we've only won 2 games in the last, week and a half. 4. That is 4 goals from the Lightning's top 8 scorers over the past 5 games. So, yeah, that has something to do with this for sure. And usually we have kind of that luxury of all of a sudden, Killer's going off or Gord's going off. But they did that last month, and those guys are traditionally just streaky hockey players. So where's the rest of the scoring coming from? Because, the 4th line can only do so much. And you can see the last line there says the 4th line has carried the team offensively over the past 5 games.
Well, right in front of that, Anthony Cirelli, we thought we had a flash of him that he came back once he came back from his injury, and now he's went ghost again.
And we were talking about Braden Point when you were gone last week, and we do talk about him a lot. Like, when's Braden Point going to be that sure thing elite player? And he has played well during this losing streak. So he has kind of been that one guy that.
What about Palat? Yeah. Palat, remember, he was the playoff hero, Stanley Cup hero. Come into the beginning of the season, he was the winning. The game-winning goals for a couple of the games, and we're ready to anoint him mayor of Tampa. And now he's been quiet too and taking quite a bit of penalties.
Yeah, it's how things have kind of flipped for them. So .600, that's points percentage against Detroit and Columbus. And he goes on to talk about how the Lightning or asks the question about, do the Lightning play down to their competition? I think all good teams do. They think we can take a day off, and it seems like what's happened lately with the Lightning. But I think after the last 2 weeks, especially the last couple games, people are talking about this team not playing well. They're talking about it internally. They're talking about it themselves. So you got to imagine they're not like going into these games against Columbus in Detroit this weekend or last weekend playing half-ass. And I don't think they are. They're trying, but like tonight's game was a perfect example of a lot of chances to score goals, and they just didn't get the bounces. And you got to like think that this team just didn't all of a sudden become not good and not talented. Right. They're going to get those goals. And I'd rather have them not score those goals now and then get on a hot streak in May. So I know I started the show hitting the panic button. Schoolie, you took me off the ledge. You took me off the ledge. I think
came back from the Skyway. Thank God.
The Lightning are going to trade for a top 4 defender. They're gonna go on a little streak here, going into some series against Carolina and against the Panthers, and I think it's just a matter of time when those floodgates open and this team has one of these 6-7 goal performances, because once they get that, taste of blood in the water, they're gonna start scoring goals again. There's no way this team's all of a sudden gonna just hit a wall and score 1 goal a game for the rest of the season. Right? No, tell me it's right, man.
I mean, think of a playoff series against these teams right now. The only one that really concerns me at this moment is Carolina. I think the other ones, Tampa wins hands down. Florida may be a close one, a 4-3 series, 4-2 series, something like that. But Carolina, I think, is the one that would go 7 games. But I think I think Coop's seen what he's wanted to see in these games against these teams. Could he be trying out different things to figure out what's going to work? Who's going to sit? Who's going to play? Who's going to play where when Cooch arrives? Do you put him on that top line with Stammer and Point? Do you put him on second line, split up, put Stammer back at that second line, put Cooch with Point and Palat? What are you going to do? So maybe he might be, I've seen enough of the season. We have a big enough lead. We're almost guaranteed a playoff spot. It's all but numbers right now. Do you start shutting it down and trying to figure out what's going to play for you? Shutting down a season helped us last year. So maybe let it go a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah. And you did it again, man. I was about to disagree with you and jump, and I think you convinced me otherwise. As far as I was the opposite about the playoffs, because like they were talking about tonight on the broadcast, that first round of the playoffs, and I think this is the first 2, is probably going to be against teams in your own division.
Right.
And I was thinking like that's a huge disadvantage, because that's more of a coin flip. Like, to compare it to football, it's like when a team plays another team in their division. Like if the Bucks play the Saints or Falcons or Carolina, with the exception of, since we got Brady, it was always a coin flip. Like Jameis could beat the Saints randomly, even though they were good, and he could beat, all these teams. So I think with Lightning or with hockey, it's very similar. But what you said makes a lot of sense, because we've got the wild card. Like they know how to defend us now.
Right.
But you bring in one of the best players in the world and mix up those lines however you want, you can't cover all of the Lightning's playmakers, especially when you add in Cooch, who, by the way, wasn't like scoring as many goals at this time last year in the playoffs last year.
You still have to cover him.
He was ditching.
But you still have to cover him. Even if he's not scoring goals, you have to think he's going to.
Well, yeah, didn't he have like almost 40 assists in the playoffs in the
Yes.
bubble? Like, I mean, hopefully, knock on wood, he comes back completely healthy. But he's got a long recovery. He's skating, and that first skate, you could tell he was maybe a little ginger on the ice, moving a little slowly. But every clip they show, you can tell he's getting a little bit more comfortable, turning a little bit better, which is so important with the hips. All right, you got any other breaking news for us? Let's call it. Let's get out of here with a short, depressing show. There's no one in the chat tonight.
I say
dead.
the Bolts make some kind of move.
You're calling a defenseman coming to Tampa?
I think so. I think maybe a forward on their way out and a defenseman. It would shock me if they're content with this team.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. Actually, I don't. It's so weird because it's such a strange season. Like what our team's gonna do. And oh, by the way, you've got another team like that's about to start. It's on the horizon for in a couple years here. So it's with COVID. Do they want to kind of let people go? Do they want to let prospects go? Do they want to let first round draft picks go? And I'm not just talking about the Lightning. Like it's a lot of it's going to depend. Like what are other teams offering? Because if Columbus is looking in a week, like they're still not going to make the playoffs. Like, and that's the other thing we didn't even mention. Columbus is playing to make the playoffs right now.
Right.
They have to win. But
even winning out, they still need a lot of help. They can only max out at 68 points.
Yeah.
So literally they need Nashville, Dallas, and Chicago. Those are the three teams that are fighting for the fourth place. Nashville, Dallas, and Chicago. Now, if they all implode, then Columbus will get a chance. But literally you have Nashville that can top out at 75, Dallas at 74, and Chicago at 71. Then you have Carolina 91, Tampa and Florida Panthers both at 88, Bassie's number. And then you got Detroit who can top out at 62 and Columbus at 68. So really for Columbus to even be in the running, they're going to have to win out.
Yeah. So think about it. Columbus loses on Thursday to us. They give up. They're done, especially if they lose their game, whoever they play Saturday or Sunday. So they're thinking, I got Savard. He's an unrestricted free agent. They know he ain't coming back. They might not even want him back. He's old. What do we get for him? So it's going to depend on, like, is another team going to offer a first round pick and a prospect? Because I think, you and I are pretty confident the Bolts will. Right. So it's really going to depend on what other teams are doing. And, we're not thinking about the other players. I don't have the list in front of me of unrestricted free agents and who's on the go and available on the block and stuff like that. But there's going to be probably some other defenders that are in the same boat. And I think like that first round pick for Lightning is always on the block. They're expecting that to be a last pick and, one of the last picks in the first round.
So the trade deadline's 5 days, 16 hours, 26 minutes. I'd recommend if any of you guys look at Cap Friendly, they do a great breakdown they have a countdown clock, and as soon as some trades are made, they're good at breaking those. And I know I said earlier, New Jersey kept Hall out. That's his old team. Buffalo kept Hall out. Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing that I can see with Columbus trading Savard is they could trade it to somebody like a Tampa because they're going to be like, we're not going to have to face them in the playoffs. Whereas before, there's a lot of where you're still in trade potential, so you don't want to end up sending this to a team that you might play in the playoffs. I mean, they're 3 games lost. That could be it for them. They could be like, you know what, we're not going to play this team in the playoffs. Let's go ahead and look at all possibilities.
Yeah. So it's an interesting week. It seems like it's kind of like the lull in the middle of the season here before we kind of like hit this last kind of rush of games and figure out he's going to be in the playoffs. But every game matters from here on out. So it'll be fun to watch the trade deadline. It'll be fun to see if this team makes a move. You know that they're thinking it's cup or bust. This is our chance to be a franchise. It's our chance to go back to back. So I think JBB wants to do it, but I don't know. I have a feeling the price is going to be too high. So you're saying they're going to trade for defensemen. I'm going to say that they're going to stand pat. They're going to hope that they can get a Cernak back healthy, a Ruda healthy, that they can stay healthy, and hopefully, Foot continues to develop and some of these guys start kind of gelling together. And it's not like they can't. They started the season, most of the season, on fire. Do they need anyone else? Seems like they do now, but
how about going 12-6? Let's go back to 12-6. What happened to that?
We used to do that.
Yeah. And scored good on it.
Yeah. And they keep messing these lines up. Eventually they'll find something that works. All right. You got anything else for the people, the podcast people?
No. See everybody next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is what? 13th?
Yep. We'll be back on the 13th after the game. That is against the Predators. Hopefully we're celebrating a new Lightning winning streak. In the meantime, go check out Thunderbolts and hang out with some other fans there.
And if you're a Rays fan, check out We the 98ers this weekend.
Oh, yes. We the 98ers coming back. Announcement coming soon. So if you're a Rays fan, you'll start to see those kind of pop up on Sunday nights. But until then, or until at least next Tuesday, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.